In the narrower area of Vukovar, that is, in the defense of the city itself, there were approximately 2,700 active fighters. In the broader area, including people who fought or assisted in the defense, doctors, technicians, logistics, etc., there were about 6,000 people. Less than 3,000 fighters faced around 30,000 Chetniks and members of the so-called Yugoslav People's Army. It was only after the battles for Barracks, Zagreb, Varazdin, Sisak, etc., that the Croats managed to capture part of the weapons that remained from the former Yugoslav People's Army, JNA. Now, I don't believe that we received any weapons from the Americans and the UN. Weapons were purchased after the embargo was lifted and the ban on Croatia's arms purchases. Before that, wealthy individuals, Tudmen, generals, etc., used Croatia's national treasures, gold, jewels, some of historical importance and significance, to buy weapons on the black market, but only infantry weapons such as pistols, automatic rifles, grenades, mortars, rocket launchers. In the defense of Vukovar, volunteers and reservists didn't have tanks or armored vehicles, which the Serbs had, and it's a real miracle that 2,700 people destroyed over 400 tanks. It just shows how powerful the force of morale and courage is, and how much better people fight when defending their hometown, homeland, and ideals, compared to when they fight for megalomaniacs, psychopaths, and criminals. It once again showed that Croats are among the world's best fighters, and the numbers speak for themselves. Sadly, the Serbs still believe their propaganda from that time, regardless of the data accepted and acknowledged by the international community. 30,000 soldiers plus paramilitary tried to take the city with tanks, planes, mines, tear gas, armored vehicles, and all kinds of weaponry, and the city of Vukovar was defended with less than 2,000 or 3,000 brave volunteers, including a French young man, who was part of HOS, Croatian Defensive Forces, that broke their way into surrounded Vukovar, and he was later found wounded in hospital. 'Cause he didn't want to take the opportunity and leave the city, he was tortured and murdered. Croatian volunteers came from Vukovar, Zagreb, Samobor, Kutina, etc., all parts of Croatia, and they were part of Croatian Defensive Forces, HOS. 50-plus soldiers went in, only 25 got out, one that died was 16 years old. Many of Vukovar natives and residents also put up a big fight, especially at Trpinska Cesta, tank graveyard under command of Blago Zadro that lost his life in the attempt of a breakthrough, to keep the Croatian forces connected. Those soldiers, less than 2,000 of them probably, had not one tank, not one armored vehicle, not one plane or a helicopter, and with only infantry weaponry, Croatians were still able to destroy more than 70 Serbian tanks and kill more than 15,000 soldiers and paramilitary forces, just with snipers, hunting rifles, carbines, outdated cheap AKs, World War II rifles, and above all, pure bravery and patriotism. Serbians bombarded the hospital and the whole city, civilians were killed daily, and most of them were hiding in basements. Later, warriors that could not escape were butchered, and not just warriors, but pregnant women, wounded civilians, and everyone practically, 'cause it was ethnic cleansing. If you wonder why Croatians don't like Serbs, here is your answer, and still, we don't dislike them all, we hate those that escaped justice and politicians that still hide war criminals. Later, when we got the weapons, we did our actions, Storm and Flash, and we liberated most of our territory in 3 days. Operation Thunder or military liberation of Vukovar and Eastern Slavonia never got into place, because they cowardly surrendered and escaped forever.